So in this video, I would like to try out with you how we could build, for example, chairs like this one, where we have some sort of a bent plywood shell and, for example, metal pipes for the legs. And it really helps when you're not very familiar, kind of like with shapes or designs. Just use Google and just browse around, get an idea or sensibility for what styles are out there, what shapes are out there. So you see they can range from very kind of like classic, kind of boring, to maybe more modern or interesting, linear, more masculine, or more experimental, interesting looking, very interesting looking, or also quite nice. So the way how I'm going to work with you is actually, I don't want to say the only way how we have to do it. In general, everything I do is just really subject to change. There's no wrong. There's only more work and less work approach. So I will try to do something that's rather manageable. So, for example, if we would like to build similar like this out of wood, we have to basically create a bent plywood master, and then we just cut parts out. So the same way, actually, we're also going to build it in CAD. So I put down some basic measurements, and let's say this maybe is 18 inches by 18 inches. Let's say maybe 18 inches wide. So I just keep those numbers the same. So how do we start? Well, let's go to Fusion. I go to the site and let's change this one to inches. I'm going to create a sketch from the site and from I zoom out a little bit because I see where maybe 18 might be, and I click and drag a line up 18 inches, for example. Let's say there, click, press escape, and I'm simply using this line as a reference because right now I know where 18 inches height, for example, would be. Now those bent plywood shells can easily be built out of cross sections, which we then are going to loft together. That sounds rather complicated, but it is actually a pretty simple process. So what we're going to do first is, with this line created, you see I can snap to the end. And let's say I type in 19 inches, hit enter, see it snaps horizontally, click, press escape. Good. Now this line I can delete. I don't need that anymore. And then maybe from here, 19 inches, enter. So you see now I can only define the degree. And let's say that's the outside. Now we're drawing the inside, maybe something like this. So 101. Okay. Also, it is good to simply write down maybe those degrees at one point. So you just have a copy on paper, press escape. But you also see inside here the software, it actually gives us all the dimensions and the degree. So that's good. Then this part down here, for example, should be rounded. Now, because we're dealing with a bent plywood shell, in this case, I will have to round the sketch. But before I do that, I'm going to click stop. The main reason is I now have some sort of an old reference. And for example, I call this one reference, and I'm going to get back to edit. And for example, I'm going to add an offset to this one, 1 inch. And you see there's a problem also, one line only gets offset. And I'm going to show you what the problem is. So this doesn't work. If I zoom in, you can see this is dotted. Somehow magically another line here was created. You see there is a construction line. Not really sure how that happened. So zip, delete it, click, and 19 inches, enter, click, escape. And let's see, sketch dimension. Can we actually do the rotation? Yeah. Now we bring it back. So by these two lines, software understood that where these lines are not parallel, so we cannot measure the distance, but they're touching here. They are at an angle to each other, so it understood what angle we want. So there it is. Offset, now you see both lines are highlighted. Click, 1 inch, okay. And then all these lines I click, left mouse button, right click, construction, okay. So you see now I basically have a template. So I'm getting ready to create myself another sketch there. And for example, now I would like to bring this one over. So what I'm going to do is simply maybe project those helper lines in. Actually, let's stop this. Those I don't need. Click, click. Okay. So with this project, I actually projected from the reference sketch the lines into the sketch. This is, for example, my mid cross section. Right click, edit. And now I can do my fillet, not really, doesn't work. But what I can do now is simply do this. Oh wait, select these two lines. And then I say break link. Now a break link basically means currently they're interactive. So they're projected from reference into here. When I break link, well, I break the projection link. Click it. You see now those are actual normal lines I can continue working with. And then here I do my fillet, and that's the inside. And let's keep this one at 5 for the moment. Okay, good. And then let's make an offset. All this 1 inch. Okay. See how everything perfectly overlays. Okay. And then let's cap those lines. So we have a filled surface. Perfect. So at this point, now let's what do I like to do now? Yeah, so let's show the origins. I'm going to create an offset plane from here. Let's say 19 inches wide, so 8.5. Okay, and so that my design, my timeline is simply more organized, I do the same here, minus 8.5, zip. Okay, let's create another sketch here. Go to there. And let's maybe show this one again. And what are we going to do now? Yeah, I would like this part to rotate a little bit more. So I'm going to do the same like before. Project this one. And then press escape. Right mouse button, break link. There. Click 19. And for the side, it has to get to somewhere else, so a little bit less degrees. So maybe, oh, 93 is not really a lot. Maybe 92, whoops, 94, 5, 6. Let's keep it there. Okay, good. And click. Escape. And then stop sketch, because now I have a problem. I didn't really see all these dimensions here. So here, show dimensions. Ooh, there are none? There are none? Okay, edit. Oh, I didn't give this fillet a dimension. Okay, so dimension there. So 5. Now I see at least kind of like the amount. I'm actually curious if I select, whoops, these 2 lines, if I can do, yeah, I can. Perfect. See, they don't even have to touch each other. Okay. So let's go back to here. So this one, for example, I call outside cross section left. Yep. So I see this one I rounded with a fillet of 5. Then edit sketch. Fillet, zip, zip, and maybe 3. Okay. Stop sketch. Oops, that was not correct. Let's go back to edit sketch. And then offset an inch. Okay. Put in these lines. Stop sketch. And let's make an overlay. And there, for example, now you can see how the sketches start to look somewhat different. So quite interesting. Okay. Now, I made this third construction plane here, this one. See, this one is on the far left. I really don't want to draw that construction plane again. Sorry, the sketch. So what I'm going to do, new sketch onto this construction plane, and then please project this one, this line, that arc, this one, and this one. Stop sketch. And let's see what we have. So this one I call outside cross section right. And you see, I have 3 cross sections. Now I could go to create, loft, and then I click in here, and there. And it has to wait for a moment to calculate everything. And okay. And there we are. Now we have a very basic wood shell. See, that wasn't really too difficult. Now, let's actually be a little bit more creative with this one. These edges are kind of sharp. So we're going to round them. I simply click on fillet and fillet, shift click those edges there. Nope, not that one, that one. And then I drag this one down. There, perfect. See, that's for example then how I say how something should be rounded. Now all those corners are a little bit sharp, so I can go to fillet, drag over everything, and maybe type in 0.1. Okay, good. So just for the sake of demonstration, I would like to have some patterns in there. So click, make a sketch onto kind of like this view. You see I'm in orthographic back view. So if I click on this view, it creates a sketch and circle, let's say here, zip, 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 zip. Boo. There and one there. Okay, great. Stop sketch. And now in AutoCAD we have to extrude and then do the solid command. And in Fusion we can simply select these sketches, go to extrude and just move it through. Click OK, and you see the moment you push it through the shell, this operation add turns into cut. And OK. And then we just cut a hole in there. Now you see that those edges are rounded, those edges are not rounded. So take a look at this. I select these two and just pull them to there, to the end. So why did I do that? We made the sketches, we made the construction planes, we drew sketches, we made the solid, I made a sketch for these rings, extrude and cut, then I rounded those big corners, and now with the end result of this edge and all these sharp edges here, I'm going to round them all again. So I go to this one, delete it, and drag over and type in 0.1. Has to work for a second. Okay. And there we are. So now there we have a basic wood shell. Now there's just a tiny itsy bitty problem in our design. You will see that this bigger fillet dips upwards, and then the smaller fillet, you see what I'm pointing out. See, for example, there you can see how this is concave. So that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable to sit on. Okay, now this approach I showed you the best will work when, for example, those fillets inside your sketch remain the same. If not, this might not be the best idea. But let's see what we can do to change this one. So there's our center sketch. Go to edit, and what I'm going to show you now, that's one of my most favorite parts about Fusion because it is so flexible. So this one I delete, this one I delete, and let me see if I can. Ooh, I cannot. So not a big deal. I'm going to delete those for the moment because let's move this one out. Let's move this one. Nope. Let's see if I can extend that line. I can. There. Move this one back. Stop. Zip. Okay. Then I'm going to do this again and extend this one. Oh, I thought I did extend it. There. Okay. And move this one back. Good. So this one should not be horizontal. And let me show you my original construction sketch. And now what I'm doing is try to see if I can maybe move those a little bit. You see, if I move this point down, everything gets thicker. Terrible. Well, that's because I have those constraints here. They say make everything parallel. So there, see, now I can do something like this. And oops, that's not good. Hold on, let's go to fillet and see when we fillet this one with 5 where we are. Okay, so maybe this one I push a little bit to there. there, and fillet you and you with 5. Okay, so what I was looking for is to see if with a 5 where I get to. Now you see this line is terrible, so I simply delete it. And what I'm going to do is simply I'm just offsetting this line by 1. Offset. Nope. Hold on. One more time. Offset. Do not do it this way. You by 1. Right mouse button, drag up. 1. And one more time. 1. And if everything worked out right, it should connect perfectly. It did not 100%, so this one, zip, I connect to there. Let's take a look there. Nope. Zip. Okay. Perfect. Let's click OK. And Fusion might take a moment. Ooh. Some things are not working out. So it skipped that thing. So let's go back to here, right mouse button. Oh yeah, if something is yellow, that means there sorry, there's a small problem. If it's red, there is a really big problem. But this can easily be fixed. Probably it also only has 2. Yep, it only has 2 cross sections. So all I need to do is say you. Oh, hold on, that one is actually not yellowish. That's the problem. There. Add it. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what the problem is. So delete that one. Okay, that wasn't it. Delete that one. That wasn't it either. Delete, delete, and there, now it's yellow. So when I offset all those, this line, this arc, and this line, the ends didn't really touch. Okay. Oh, look. The loft command also worked again. Let's take a look from the side, and you see, that one looks already much, much better. Let's go back. Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay. Let it work. Okay, now it stopped complaining. Not a big deal. I did a lot of changes to the geometry, so all these edges are kind of confused. It doesn't really know what edges to select. So all I need to do is simply reapply those edges. 0.5. Oh, was it 3? Oh, okay. And then the next fillet is flipping out. Not a big deal. So simply drag over everything. Oops, way too much. Now Fusion has a lot of math to do. Okay. Didn't do it because it can't. 0.1. Okay. And there we are. See, everything is green. Perfect. You see also from the side, that looks actually nicer. If you look from the top, you see it kind of arcs back. If maybe from front, look down, you can see that it's linear and then it dips down. So that was actually not too difficult. Okay, so that was basically one way how to do it. Now to have a little bit more control and maybe a little bit of less work, I'm going to show you an alternative approach. So I'm going to select all this and simply group it. So you see it's gone from here. My reference line I would like to see. Oh no, you know what I did? What I do? Zip. I simply delete everything. Let's do it this way so we're not getting any confusing pieces in our drawing. I'm going to start with the mid sketch at the center of my object and delete these lines. Okay, zip, 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 and zip. Good. And then to have a little bit of clarity, I bring in these two lines. And what I'm going to do now is simply I'm going to work with the spline command. So, for example, click, 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 and click, press OK. These magenta lines now I delete because I have my perfect endpoints. And then, for example, these splines, if I click on these handles, you can see I can work with them. This, for example, should be for the mid part. So maybe I move this one down a little bit to there. And I think you start already realizing that you have a lot of sculpting ability for really nice soft transitions. There, maybe it's like this. So maybe go to there for that one. Maybe we have to pull this one out a little bit more. Maybe a little bit up. There. This is kind of strong, so maybe let's do it a little bit more like this. Well, okay, keep it there. Good. Just one spline, nothing more. Now I'm going to create myself a sketch. And I would like this sketch to be, I don't know, let's start on this plane. Okay. So, you see I have 3 points. So to have a little bit of help, I'm going to bring in those lines again. Go back to spline, click, click, and click. Okay. And then I can delete these points. I do not move these points because they should be all lined up. And later I'm going to move them to show you what will happen. And then you see now what we can do. Maybe here I push this one up a little bit higher. Here maybe a little bit to there. Maybe there. I don't know. Okay. I would like to go back to the midsection, and this point simply move back to there. Okay. Let's take a look what we have. You see, kind of like splines. Okay, let's turn off the reference. We need one more sketch actually on the other construction plane. So this one. And then here I simply include this sketch, zip. Okay, good. Now what I can do, loft in solid or model only works when you have a closed shape, and it creates a solid volume. However, if we go to patch and then we go to loft, we can do this. You, and you. Take a look at that. So this is a flat sheet. And this sheet, then we can actually thicken 1 inch. Zip. So you see, actually, for something very organic, this is probably the most preferred way. Now I can actually be nice and explorative. Move this one to there, or maybe move it back, or maybe here. This one I move forward. Oh, actually I moved it down. That's not what I meant. I meant it more like there. But you know what? Let's move this one down just a little bit. So there you see what can happen. So this is pretty nice. Now, if I click, for example, on the sketch and go edit here, maybe I would like to fine tune that spline a little bit more, maybe make this a little bit wider. Click OK. Pay attention to how this flows. Maybe this point a little bit back there. Okay. Huh? That wasn't too difficult. So, what else can we do? Well, we can round all these edges, etc. That would be the same process as before. But what we are going to do is actually, we're cutting a shape like this one out. So there are multiple ways how, for example, you can do that. And for visualization purpose, we simply, for example, go kind of like, let's say, a 45-degree view at it from here, make a sketch, and then cut through it. So for example, that means kind of like we need something here. So, and let's take a look at what I'm doing. So here I have my reference sketch. This sketch, I'm going to edit, and for example, 45-degree, I make another line. Okay. And let's call this one, this is, for example, outside, and yeah, outside as well. That's two. Okay. And now I would like to create a plane, a construction plane along this line. To do this in Fusion, you can select Construct Plane at Angle, click this line, go to a site, and you see actually this plane is at the right angle. You can also rotate it, which is not what I want. Leave it at this. And again, everything I really show you here right now is going to be one-to-one transferable to Fusion. Fusion is a little bit less competent than Revit. Revit is a little bit less competent than Fusion because Revit is more for architecture, and then it has a dumbed down furniture system. But if you have to build something in Revit, one-to-one the same. Okay, so onto this plane, I'm going to create myself a sketch. And you see now the sketch plane is at 45-degree. So what I'm going to do now is, for example, this. I'm going to create myself a big line. Escape. In this line, I'm do construction. Then I go on spline. See, now I can snap to this line. Click, 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 and click. Okay. So I have to do some cleanup. These lines, see, I'm rotating them till I get a horizontal constraint. See there. Click here, there, the same zip. Can pull those out. This, for example, should be at the corner, so maybe there. This one can go down a little bit. Okay, then let's mirror this one over. Mirror This one, the mirror line, that one, zip. And you see it now. It's a solid shape. And you see that. Okay, so what can we do now with this thing? Um, simply the following. Let's say split body. This one split with this body, and there and there. You see that I clicked on these two sides. I have also this extend. Okay. Click OK. And did anything happen? Don't really see much. Let's take a look into our bodies, what we have here. Look at that. Let's hide this one. Ta-da! There it is. You see? Now these edges are of course not perfect. To get all these cut edges done in a way how maybe that should be with a saw, that it's a little bit more modeling work, which since we're at the beginning level here, we simply skip. But you see that I need to interpret a little bit the positioning of these lines along the 45-degree, so when I project them down this way to see what type of my wood shell I'm hitting. Yeah. Okay. Because, and let me show you another reason why I really like this timeline. I'm ending up with another part here. This one. I don't really like that one. So I think I can simply delete this part. Zip. This shell thickening currently I delete as well. So let's see, here's our body. Here's our sketch. Let's go to here to this view. And we also have a trim here. So I can click trim. The trim tool is, for example, this one, and then let's see if I can trim this one away. Okay. One more time, trim this, and then click on this shell, click OK. And you see I trimmed that surface nicely. And then I simply go to thicken this one 1 inch down, and there I am. So you see down here I have now 2 commands instead of a split. I have 2 trims. However, up here I still just remain with 1 object. That's a nice advantage of it. So I don't really like the way how this looks. So for example, that is too long. So maybe let's see what we can do. I mentioned before you have to interpret this a little bit. So maybe go into edit, click on this one, and maybe push this one up there, maybe a little bit this way, a little bit down. Click stop sketch, and let's see what happens. Yeah. And basically you can continue sculpting your shapes. Maybe the center splines I don't really like. Here's my outside one there. So maybe this one shouldn't be so low. Maybe there. And this one maybe to there. Let's take a look. Oh, whoops. Oh, what happened here? Oh, that's interesting. Let's go back to here. Show me this one. Okay, that works. Okay. Ah, I see why. You see, this one is too low, so maybe let's go to there. No, 1 or 2. Ah, I flipped the direction, that was all. So here, add it. Okay. That's the cutting tool. Oh, hold on. Why do I actually have 2? I should only have 1. Add it. Oh, there it is. And click. And takes a moment for Fusion to calculate. Or not. Okay. Say you. Cut this one out. Okay. Oh. No, that shouldn't happen. That's not good. So trim tool, you cut this one out. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't understand why. I have to maybe send this one to Autodesk. So maybe move this one in a little bit there. Let's move this one a tick down. Okay, let's see if maybe simply rearranging something like this is already enough. You there. See, it perfectly cuts through. Oh, there it does. Okay. So sometimes a little bit of adjusting your drawings should do it. Now, interestingly, this one decided to skip what we did. See, edit, and simply clicking OK, and everything is updated. Okay. I hope this one, for example, gave you a good idea of how flexible actually this approach is. Also, some things can go wrong. Well, everything can go wrong at one point. But you also have maybe a little bit more work. But I feel like afterwards, the result is also much more pleasing. Okay, so that was everything in regards of how to create some basic wood shells for using this method. Here's actually now one last way how to make a quick shell. You see I deleted everything. I just have my center spline. Oh, no, we don't need it anymore. And what I'm going to do is create a plane along a path here. And for example, move it to the start. Okay. Then I create a sketch on this plane. Say include this point so I can snap to it. And for example, from here, drag out, let's say maybe 1 inch, click, and maybe 1 inch up. Okay, click, escape, and then I do this one more time. There to here, 8 inches, click, and 1 inch up, click. Okay, nope, not you. Okay, so why did I do this? Why did I do this? Simply I have 2 high points and a low midpoint. So now I can go to Spline and say click, click, and click. Okay. Now those lines here were just helpers, so I can delete them. Zip. And for example, then I could go to offset this one an inch down. Let's remove those annotations here, some fragments. Okay. And we have to cap these lines. So let's see. That doesn't look good. So let's see what's going on here. Maybe here to there. Well, okay, I just simply go straight down. Fusion's a little bit cranky here with the correct snapping. Not a big deal. Zip. One down. And if I want to be really precise, I make another line down. So all these lines are the same. And then I simply delete this one. Now, this line, I'm going to make construction spline and say zip, zip, and there. And click on the screen button. Okay. Stop sketch. And yeah, so now I can take this and run it along the spline. So I go to sweep this profile along this path. There I am. So this is a very easy way to make a symmetrical shell based on, for example, a cross section. And this basically concludes all the different demonstrations we could utilize to create certain types of wood shells. And you see this, for example, is a very simple one. Others were a little bit more complex. So based really on what you need, you can simply use a more simplified approach or a more complex approach, because each one will give you either simplicity and it's easier to manage, or it's more complex, but you have a higher freedom of creativity.